What's going on, YouTubes? Did you see our pre-market video? Did you tune in, take a peek? And 2618. That's the old fib from last week. So I said I'm all in short right here. Entry was 217 on NQ. Target is yesterday's highs. The short is still working out. But as we already posted in the Discord here, we are all done with that guy here and locked out. Well, not locked out because it's cash out, but done for the day there. Now, the setup for the remainder of the day here is very much the same. Now watch, triple 15-minute right here. So we have 1, 2, and 3 15-minute candles, right? And generally, we don't like to get 3 in a row on any time frame, much less the 5 or 15, and sometimes even the 30, which we have suffered today for the first time in a long time I've seen. You get the point. Go back and check out my video from pre-market if you want to see how I predicted the short out of the gate, okay? So we'll start here in the Discord, which we were cutting her up pretty good here on all the pre-market longs. We had some beautiful algos this morning that we had talked about on SPY we'll go for. We will talk about the full force-up call towards 609 because we were in a pre-market fake-out. Just perfect scam high. Nothing could have done anything more than just buy high, close eyes. It was very simple for us on the P&Ls here in the morning, and then we call the full short out of the gate. So you can see some of our trades here going in at 217 as suggested on the chart, all the way out at 184.75. So we got a couple more trades there to talk about. So let's get into the open first. So on the NQ, we had a beautiful force up potential. So let's go to the candle that we got our trades from this morning for the long all pre-market. Okay. So we had a very interesting setup down here. Okay. This candle, 2:40 a.m., has a beautiful high doji on it, right? Interacting with the 200 SMA. We fibbed that out to the high low, and then we said, well, we're going to most likely come up and scammo highs, and that's where I said the NQ is going to go up to about 192. So I took one short scalp off the gate here for the first tag of the 423. I waited for the 5-minute to show me a loop, and if you're confused on what a moving average loop is, I got tons of videos here of the moving averages teaching you what a loop is. So we get a full hard open close here on the loop, pushes up, we get the 192, right? So first tag metrics are my favorite. So if we come into 5180, that's the 423 extension here in NQ, comes down to the 2618. Generally, I like to see 3618 to 2618 as well, but both played out perfectly fine as we kind of squeezed through that and then got actual rejection at the 423. There wasn't a first tag metric on the 3618. It just blew right through. So obviously just use the 423. Now, the short call out of the gate here was pretty hefty, and that was actually due to the QQQ and the SPY kind of together. So this was the long all pre-market we call from a single fib, and if we go back into the QQQ, we'll show you where everything else went. I don't want to go mess around with that chart. All right, so this morning we had that impulse. Now in the pre-market video that I released today, I showed you guys how we picked the short targets, okay? So I'm not going to spend too much time in this. Go back and watch that. But if I go to this 15-minute chart here, we had yesterday's highs for a gap fill on watch and the rejection of 608.79. So you see my Discord post as well as 728, 731 right here. I said I'm all in short. We're going to go for yesterday's highs on the gap fill. And because we had a triple 15 setup, which means we had 3 15s in a row with no GP. And then if you go to the 30-minute lower than that, we also had 3 30 minutes. Yes, 3 in a row right here. This is where we called the short off. So 1, 2, 3. Let me draw a little better here. Big guy here is 1 30-minute candle, 2 30-minute candle, 3. Notice that this one has a GP tag now. So I came in and I marked this off because we had 3 golden pocket fibs in a row not tagged. We did that with the 15 up here too. So target 1 is yesterday's highs bounce. Target 2 is the first candle of the triple 30. 1, 2, 3 candles in a row with no golden pocket Fibonacci tag. Algos don't like that. So we called our final short right here, all off of literally just 15-minute and 30-minute Fibonacci magnets. So what was the last call of the day as you see on the screen here? Well, I told my crew in Discord at 10 a.m. when we got off, and I said, just look long, all the way back to the live tag of 608.79. We had a pre-market rejection and decided to short the whole morning to come down to yesterday's highs because there's no real reason on a No News Monday to have a gap up. That's a big psychology breaker for me. A lot of the times I say, if there's no reason for a gap and go, especially on No News Monday, it's usually going to gap fill. So we wait for the pre-market to run the scam up and then just drop out of the gate. Very common. So we had a pre-market tag of the 3618 we went over, right? Big rejection. But then we noticed a lot of that divergence. And I said, well, if it holds 606.25, that's the top of that 30. All we got to do is get over yesterday's highs and you will go to this box right here. So I posted in chat and I said, target one long scalp over yesterday's highs. That was right here at 10 a.m. consolidation. As long as you make it over yesterday's highs, you are heading to the zone we called. So Gratz, another banger of a trade here over yesterday's highs into our zone called about 50 some points on a No News Monday. We had 5 for 5 perfect trades this morning on the day. So that was a really quick recap on exactly what we put out. There's more information in the pre-market video coming up. But for the news and what's next, well, we'll stop here at SPY real fast, and this was my other target. So the other piece of the pie was huge support long above right here. Okay. So I had a couple sentiments drawn from my group, as you can see here. And I said, guys, all we got to do is hold 670.50, and it is a long, and that's it. The catalyst to this for me, if you look back in our Discord and you're part of it, you'll see me bitching about the VIX. And I said, all the VIX has to do is fail 17 and we're good to go. Because why? Well, we had a bunch of targets on the volatility index to the downside. We noted this morning that we had 5 no-tag GPs in a row, fair values, and a magnet to the 100 EMA. So we had an open right here, magnet, boom, 100 EMA at open. We actually called the gap into the open here, into the 100 EMA, the gap down right here into the 100. Then we said, well, if it breaks into 17, that's the directional pick. If it holds 17, we're good to go. We're going to come back down to the market. If it sweeps and just dies under 17, I will see you all the way back down to these GPs in fair value, which was 1640s. And we had to lose 1670. So my call was anything under the pre-opening price, which was 1674 area there, we were good to go long for the rest of the day in the market. And that's what we chose because of so many algorithmic back tests needed on this cluster, okay, of GPs. So again, we call all that at 10 a.m. So the SPY support right here, where did this come from? Well, we said if VIX fails 17, we'll have clear skies to push back up over this gold level. Now this gold level right here is Thursday's high low. It's 10.2. Notice right here. Okay, so the gold fib from 666.79 to 670.57 is developed off last Thursday. And we said if it holds 670.50, right, and or the high of Thursday there, we're going to push back up and chase down some targets to the upside because we had some misses. What did we miss? Well, on Friday, remember now the gold we're looking at is Thursday's high low. Notice the 1618 extension at 673. If you look at Friday, we had a little tumble without hitting that. We call this a scam shy. We had a big breakup and did not hit, failed, but held the golden pocket to the T. When that happens, we move the support up from the golden pocket tag to the top of the candle, which is the 100% fit, 670.57. So I put huge support zone, and we marked this out in pre-market, way before open, way back here. During the algos, of course, as well. And we said, as long as we hold above that, we're clear skies up to pre-market high and yesterday's highs. And of course, because it's ES, this is a target hit. It always just looks funny. It's 05 cents. 10 cents is 1 point. So no matter what, that's a target hit from ES to SPY. So we had both long over yesterday's highs for Qs and over this zone on SPY at 10 a.m. And both trades for the end of the day through the afternoon worked out gloriously. So the one Fibonacci we did have, pretty awesomely here was this dude here. It's a 3 a.m. This is when 3 a.m. Central Time is when the tickers start trading in US, not the indices and ETFs. It's when the actual Apples and Nvidia and all that stuff start to trade. And one thing I will note here is another extension live tag magnet. So we drew this up. This is how we predicted the short. We went here into the 1618, and then I said, okay, there's SPY support, long back up here on Qs. Qs made it to massively higher. That was our trade we covered in the first part, all because SPY was holding this Fibby. Now, if you see, the live tag is very important, right? So this is pre-market, obviously. This is live. So you see the golden pocket right here, right, with the algo mixed with the Thursday gold, right? So remember, Thursday's highs, last Thursday, 670.57. We needed to hold that. And we had a mass amount of support to recover all the way down to 670.20, which is the golden pocket in this gray zone of the candle. So we picked right here as massive support. And we also have another Fibonacci overlap. I'm not going to draw 5 intersecting Fibonacci's just to tell you where the exact zone is, but it's right here. And anything above that was good to go. So you bring up your oscillation indicators. Everything told us here as well. Said as long as that MACD crosses to that upside, we get the higher low. I expressed that I really enjoy the higher low we seen right here as we were getting off stream. I said this candle breaking over the 10 SMA and the 666 and back testing it right here is an absolutely fantastic confirmation. I'm comfortable with your guys' long all the way back up to a live tag of the 1618. What does that mean? Remember, the pre-market algo was made here, ran up to a pre-market 1618, recycled to the GP, held the GP, and came right back to the 1618 again. And now for tomorrow, the long continuation probability. What's the prediction? Well, we're going to use the same exact fib, same exact level. If 1618 becomes support, we have done what? We shied yesterday's highs, pre-high, and 673. So if we back up a little bit here, if this thing wants to continue for a little bit, now remember, FOMC and big stuff is coming out for Wednesday and Thursday. We have to be very, very, very aware of those big news pieces coming into some of these tops because it can be weird. With the government shutdown forcing everything up to the easy side, just don't think there can't be any upsets, please. But leading up to the FOMC, we usually get a buy ramp, right? So the day before, it's generally a little choppy, but it buy ramps up. So we are going to predict that anything above 671.75, obviously if and statements apply here. Some of the people comment on here, they're like, oh, that didn't hold and it flew down. That's, yeah, I know. Because the opening range broke a level where I said if it is above, you would look for a target above it. And if a opening range breaks that level, you clearly wouldn't look long. It's basic support resistance. So got to train these the news in the chat there in the comments. But if, now pay attention, English is hard, above 671.75, we will see 673. If not, you will be able to come back down to the golden pockets. I don't see that happening quite yet. What's the other caveat? Well, how we're going to get there is whatever the market wants to do overnight. It could even do a dip, big old scammo, and then run up 673. But the main catalyst for me is going to be that volatility index again at a certain level. So I will go over this real quick and you will see where we need to be. Now we hit all of those algo magnets here. Now, the only other target left open is this gap that's lower. So I'm going to say anything under 1650 for the VIX, we have a chance to chase down 1595 and 16. If we take that chance to go down to 16 for the VIX, that means we get the chance to go up to 673 for SPY. And that is the only way I'll play it. If it falls under that 1618 and starts to break down and gives a short confirmation, I'm just going to reassess in the morning and I don't really care. But I'm going to lean to the long side for now. I'm going to see this 1618 become support and I'm going to see a magnet up to 673 potentially. Now remember, we still have an oblong target, which I have a very unique algo system here for the QQQ's macro vision here. I still think we're going to have a little bit of a push, but until the end of the week here, we could see detrimental moves as low as 600, okay? And that's going to be a fail up into the 611, 610 area. So if this thing pushes with it and QQQs goes up and it's somewhere in the 610, 611, 612 here, and we get bad news, FOMC, leading into the Powell speak on Thursday, I don't care what it is, the catalyst does not matter, it's just what it does on the chart. So when it comes in and it does start snapping, we finally get that crazy move, we will come back to 600 very, very soon in the next week or two, okay? Pay attention. I bet you I'll see you there. If you want to see me do this stuff live, I stream live every single morning. The Discord, we do full pre-market predictions. Then we narrate every single one of our trades that we do. Links in the description. Take care. Trade safe.